all of you. I hope all of you can hear me clearly. Can you just quickly use the chat window to say yes? A lot of people are there. Can you just use the chat window to say yes or no? Jatin Sachdeva has said yes. Meena Sundari, thank you. So I think you're able to hear. Thank you so much. So a warm welcome to all of you present here in today's special session from E&ICT Academy IIT Kanpur. Dr. Kashmira Ganji and I will take you through this particular session, and I'm pretty sure at the end of this session you will have a clear understanding of what can be done. Just let me do a small presentation. Let me see if I can present it from here. Yes. Hopefully you can see this. All of you can see this. Kashmira, I think you can see that, right? Okay.
I see it, sir.
I'll just take you through the next 10 minutes of setting the stage for this seminar, webinar, as we call it. I am CEO of IITK Foundation for Advanced Consulting, Education and Training. It's a Section 8 company under IIT Kanpur. Section 8 company is a not-for-profit company where we work under a academy called we work for the academy called the E&ICT Academy, Electronics and Information and Communication Technologies Academy, under Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. I'll just quickly do this particular session is going to be spearheaded by Dr. Kashmira Ganji. She is a postdoctoral fellow, was a postdoctoral fellow at IIT Kanpur and a PhD too. But before that, I thought I will give you an overview of what is happening because of AI, not just in all the other areas, but also in healthcare. But a brief idea about who we are. E&ICT Academy is a joint initiative, like I said, of the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and IIT Kanpur. Started off as way back in 2015-16. Originally, it was focused on faculty development programs, but over the last 4 years, the government of India wants this to be taken to professionals, students, and of course the faculty too. It's a part of a nationwide MIT-sponsored scheme, and this focuses on engineering, arts, commerce, science, political institutions, and everybody else. We are into short-term as well as now long-term programs in emerging technologies, including AI, ML, IT, electronics, product design, manufacturing, sustainability, all in various domains also. So, for example, AI technology is one area, but also AI in healthcare is a specific domain in that sense. And almost all our sessions, except for certain programs which are done either in the summer or in the winter, are all online live delivery programs. This particular reason why we are doing it is because AI is clearly impacting the healthcare industry. AI is impacting everywhere. You have heard of Microsoft removing 10,000 people, TCS removing 12,000 people. In fact, if you look at the last couple of years, there is a kind of a limbo in terms of recruitment from the various industry players. At the same time, the requirement of professionals, technology professionals, is only increasing. But how and why is it important for healthcare? How do doctors, paramedics, healthcare industry experts, nurses, anybody, the pharmacologists, the diagnostic people, how do they use this? I think AI is real. The usage of it is now beyond question, and hence I think understanding whatever background you might have, understanding and applying the same AI into your domain is become imperative. It's going to become even more imperative as the years go by. You know, in fact, just last 2 weeks, we have delivered a program for all faculty members across the country from IITs, from IITs and ITs, triple ITs, and other institutes in AI in medical imaging. More than 1,000 faculty members were participating in this. Understanding this will kind of make it very, very clear for the usage of this industry. Then remote patient monitoring, remote patient online medical advice is always there. With AI getting added, it's only going to become better. Mental support, health, once again, AI in hospital operations, making sure that most of the operations are uh, not automated alone, but also AI driven to make it more accurate in that sense. And lastly, the area where it is impacting and it's going to impact a lot more and reduce the time taken for drug delivery, drug discovery itself is going to be actually happening both in discovery as well as personalization. And that is where we come into picture, wherein the technology and various domains, in this particular case healthcare, can get um, uh, mixed up and uh, deliver what is required for the industry as such. We see that AI is going to be used for faster drug delivery, AI plus DNA for personalized treatments in public health and disease control, various government backed global research initiatives in the AI domain for healthcare, and lastly, immersive learning and patient rehab. Each of these areas are going to be the future of healthcare and AI. A few numbers kind of really give you an idea of where is this market growing. India is growing healthcare and the effect of it from the AI part of it. By 2029, it is expected that the healthcare market in specifically hospitals alone will be up to $310 billion. Add diagnostics, medical devices, supplies, pharmaceuticals, life sciences, financing ecosystems, and others. It is expected to be by 2029, 4 years from today, according to estimates, $500 billion. That's almost 1/8 of the Indian economy itself. But more importantly, AI is slowly but steadily catching up. It's expected that right now, from a 0.12 billion watt in what is was in 2020, by the end of this year, 2025, it will touch 1.6 billion. It looks very small, but the kind of a rapid growth that we're talking about is what makes this entire thing exciting. And if you are in the forefront, if you are in the first, if you are the first movers advantage, if you have the first movers advantage, chances are that you will reap the best benefits more in terms of adopting AI in each of your areas. Annual healthcare spending is forecasted to go up to $189 billion, doubling in just 5 years. And 44% of healthcare leaders report that AI helped improve revenue and patient satisfaction. The numbers are still small, but look at what other areas AI is uh, helping in. One is customer satisfaction. The benefits, they say that more than 44% of the respondents have said that thanks to using AI, the customer satisfaction of their services have improved. Cost reduction, of course, cost reduction in the long run, not in the short run, and various other kind of benefits that you have using AI for healthcare. What do you need as a future of healthcare? What kind of skills are required? It is, in fact, it's a buzzword. Everybody uses this buzzword: AI, machine learning, generative AI, deep learning. I mean, there are too many words that everybody uses it. But as a healthcare professional, whether you're a doctor or taking care of patients, or you're a hospital manager, you are a pharmacologist, you are a drug delivery, you are into uh, any area of healthcare, understanding artificial intelligence and machine learning will be very, very useful for actually even staying in the business, forget about growing itself. Skills to understand data interpretation. When I'm using the word clinical data interpretation always been there, but the way, in fact, one of the very simple things I can tell you is when you look at even chat gpt, if you put a ECG report or any other report on a chat GPT and ask what is the diagnosis, very interestingly, more often than not, you are going to get a very, very detailed uh, report of that. If you're a doctor or if you're healthcare, let's say a professional, utilizing this and your own domain knowledge, and as and when this AI becomes even more useful, it starts uh, kind of making your efficiency as a doctor, efficiency to uh, reach out to many, many more patients will become that much more easier. Tools like generative AI and digital tools, ethical use of AI. In fact, one of the biggest areas which is going to be uh, explored in the future is ethical use of AI, especially when it is involved in the healthcare sector. Understanding that will become important. Health data standards and integration. And lastly, having a innovation and problem solving mindset. We believe that skills that you are going to need, not just domain knowledge, but all these skills will be essential along with the domain knowledge for the future. So, what are and some of you might be looking at opportunities. It includes clinical AI specialist or analyst, medical AI ethics and governance advisor, understanding how AI can be used ethically. And there will be, as of now, that not too many regulations have come in, but surely, but guaranteed that the government driven, not just in India, but across the world, there will be governance requirements for your healthcare professionals. And therefore, a person who understands this medical AI ethics will be very, very important. A person there could be jobs available as a healthcare data specialist, as a digital health product manager. You need not be a doctor, you can be anybody who's interested in this area, or even if you're a technologist but interested in health area, you will need digital healthcare product managers. And last, a health tech entrepreneur or innovator. You can, again, once again, I say the same thing. You could be just you could be a medical doctor, you could be a super specialist, or you could be a nursing home manager. Your understanding of the healthcare sector and how AI is affecting can make a huge, huge difference to you being an innovator and an entrepreneur. Yeah, what we wanted to kind of give you a overview of is that at E&ICT Academy IIT Kanpur and across the country itself, understanding AI in healthcare is going to be very, very beneficial to each and every one of us. To take you through the more nuances of the digital systems that are required and how AI is going to affect them, I have with me Dr. Kashmira Ganji. She is a postdoctoral fellow who has worked majorly in AI and machine learning and other systems. But more than the technical part of it, it's the application part of it, which is, I think, critical to utilizing AI in the healthcare sector. So, Kashmira, I would like you to just take you through, take everybody through the digital revolution, as we call, and how innovations, especially immersive innovations, are reshaping the patient care in making sure that uh, uh, the outcomes that the patients need are really becoming very, very uh, successful as well as positive. So can you just start sharing that, if you can do that, ma'am?
Uh, Thank you so much, sir. First of all, I would like to thank Srinivas sir and ECT and ICT Academy, and also IIT Kanpur for giving me this opportunity. So myself, I am Kashmira. I am was a postdoctoral fellow at IIT Kanpur in Department of Management Sciences, and my PhD is in the topic of digital healthcare. It is in the domain of business analytics. So today in this session, we will discuss about the concept of digital revolution in healthcare. So I wanted to focus basically on the immersive medical systems, its applications, and its area of where how can we make use of these innovation in healthcare. So, if you have access to chat, I just wanted to know how many of you have actually used this kind of devices, maybe virtual reality or augmented reality. We have devices like Apple Pro Vision and Oculus. So, how many of you have used such kind of devices? You can type yes if you have actually used it, not need not be for healthcare but any other applications. So yes, I'm seeing some of you have used smart wearable devices. So these applications, maybe you must have seen in case of tourism purpose, or maybe for gaming purpose, or maybe for entertainment purpose. So this kind of devices are now becoming more common for day-to-day usage for an individual level. So in this session, we will focus on the concept of phygital healthcare. So what is exactly is phygital, and we will understand its role and applications of the immersive technologies in healthcare. And also, we will discuss about the ongoing research that is happening in healthcare and how it is going to be transformed in next 5 to 10 years. And also, we will focus on how the healthcare is going to be transforming, and our role as a clinicians or as a healthcare professionals or any technologist or even a startup innovator working in this domain. What should be our role? How can we overcome the challenges and embrace them for better patient care? So first, let me discuss about the term phygital. So this phygital was initially introduced in early 2007 by Chris Wheel. He is a CEO of an Australian company, Momentum. And it was actually defined as an amalgamation of physical world with the digital world. So later on, it has been used in several other contexts like retail, tourism, fashion, education sector, and healthcare is not an exception. So in healthcare, especially post pandemic, so during pandemic, what happened was most of the organizations they have switched to digital treatment plans like telemedicine. But what they observed was the emotional connect, the physical connect with the patient was missing, the which was very crucial. The psychological factors, the engagement factors, which are very crucial, especially in pure services like healthcare. But so post COVID, most of the healthcare organizations they wanted to have physical presence, but at the same time they wanted to make use of the digital technology. So this led to a new hybrid business model which integrated the digital platform with the physical world, so which is termed as phygital. So, for example, as you can see in the first figure, where the doctor is explaining the patient about her upcoming brain tumor surgery. So, and even a patient admitted in hospital, the doctor is actually monitoring the patient from a remote location. So, all the real-time healthcare vitals are being monitored, and when there is an emergency, they have been alarmed, and they take up the follow-up medication services. And even after discharge, they can avail the consultation from the same doctor and get it clarified in fraction of seconds. So Phygital is basically, it is not just a digital platform or not just a physical health setup, but it is a combination of both, presence of both physical and digital technology. So now, with this understanding of what Phygital is, let's move ahead. So let us look into the interesting aspect what healthcare research suggests. So healthcare research, it is predicted that over a period of time, there is going to be a shortage of healthcare professionals. There is going to be a healthcare crisis, and it is majorly going to impact on aging population. Not just aging population. I mean, when we look at the statistics, uh, over it is almost double now since 1970. The aging population is growing, and it is going to have a significant impact on them if we are not ready to take up the crisis. And moreover, with this growing population, and World Health Organization predicts that there is not enough caregivers present, and it is going to be very difficult for age old population, and for that matter, any age group. And especially with diseases or problems like Alzheimer's and other neural diseases, or in case of challenges with mobility. So these are all problems, they are there with us, and it is required to address them. So we need to come up with some innovative solutions. And others like cancer, heart disease, respiratory disease, kidney disease. So these are all problems, they are there with us, and it is going to be challenging in terms of maintaining and supporting the aging population. And apart from these, we also have the new problems. So, as the lifestyle is changing, the healthcare demand is evolving. It is impacting on different aspects, like in case of anxiety disorders, depression, burnout, addiction, diabetes, obesity. So we are seeing new kind of challenges that healthcare is facing, and it is very important to address them. So how do we take it ahead? So this trend of addressing is basically we need to reduce the risk, which is very important. So the more we adopt technology, the more we get involved into it, and we focus on these aspects at the early stage of life. So it is extremely important to focus them or address them at the early stage of life, rather than we wait till we adopt it or we focus on it at the end of life scale. So it is, what happens is it is going to be expensive at that point, and also it is increasing the risk. So we are shifting the healthcare focus on the left portion of the curve, so that we are actually leveraging the technology, so we can be proactive and we are focusing on the preventive measures. Right? So we leverage the technology so that we will not wait till the people are at the hospital, and but we are involving them in the preventive measures, and we will not end up in expensive treatment. Right? So the only way to do this is by leveraging technology. See, over a period of time, we can't grow healthcare givers, and we cannot increase the number of resources that we have to match the demand that is there. So, leveraging technology is very important. And so, one of the major reasons for this talk or this discussion is how can we apply those next generation technologies, and how can we get ahead of the curve? So how can we actually make use of them effectively? And also we need to make sure that it is actually meeting the needs correctly, and we will be able to reach out majority of the patients, and so that we don't leave anyone behind. So it is important for us not just to understand the technical aspects of the technology, but actually the application point of view. So how it is going to transform the healthcare industry, and what are all the stakeholders which are going to be impacted with the application or innovations that are happening, the industry it is transforming, right? So moving ahead, so talking about the immersive medical systems. So specifically, I am more interested in this topic today, and I'm sure most of you are looking forward for this. And the impact that these immersive medical systems is going to create on healthcare is profound. So it is actually it will change our ability to reach people, ability to motivate or engage, and provide healthcare solutions in a effective way. And when we see the recent applications of this technology, they are coming up with more comfortable and easy way to use such kind of technology, and nowadays it has become more affordable and more accessible to individual. And with this intervention of immersive systems, we are able to provide new ways to provide healthcare, and we it is important to be creative and clever on how can we incorporate the applications of it in healthcare, right? We also need to ensure that we use the device in an appropriate way, because it helps us to capture the enormous amount of data which cannot be seen with real human eye, right? So it is important for us to ensure how can we make sure that we are doing it in a right way, right? So coming on to the nomenclature part of it, so this research on the immersive systems, it is still evolving. The nomenclature is still evolving. There are different types of immersive systems. Initially it was just called as virtual reality, right? Later on it has been differentiated to augmented reality, and we are also seeing the mixed reality, the combination of both, which is also referred as metaverse. And at this stage we are saying it as immersive systems, right? It is a spectrum of all these application areas. So it comes under the hub of all these applications in immersive systems. So when we say about the augmented reality, what exactly is the difference with VR and AR? So augmented reality, it is actually a computer generated graphics that you see. It is superimposed on a real physical world. So when a user is using it, so they can actually differentiate between the real world and the virtual world, right? They are not cut off from the real world. But when coming to the virtual reality, so this is a different scenario where when uh, it is taking you to the artificial world altogether. So the user is completely cut off from the real world, and he's experiencing the immersive world, and he's actually feeling the presence of the completely new simulated virtual world. Right. So now, when we talk about immersive systems, they are under all these applications are under this hub. And when we see the applications in terms of in healthcare applications, there are enormous applications. So the interesting aspect is that we are it is not only specific to doctor and patient, but we are seeing its applications in it is impacting all the stakeholders in healthcare, right from the training aspect, and focusing on more specific to patient based treatments and more objective assessments, and it has improved the clinical applications. This is one of the superpower, we can say, of these immersive systems. And it is also helping to facilitate and motivate the patient, and the engagement factor is highly increased. And also it is allowing us to do the research by capturing the data in new ways. So this way we can provide more precision and accurate approach to the healthcare, right? So when we see the technology that is happening behind, so there are different devices which are already existing in the market. So now is the time for VR and AR applications. So what you actually see is the tip of the, we can say it is the behind the VR systems there is lot happening, whether in terms of data analytics, or whether in terms of the design aspect, or in terms of the therapeutic protocols for medical applications. So a lot of new features are coming in, and a lot of advancements are still happening, and they are coming up with more comfortable features for a user to wear it, just like a frame of eyeglasses how you wear it. And they are bringing in the design aspects are now becoming more compact and comfortable for the user to use it, right? And talking about the research what is happening in this domain, so there are a lot of companies, several academic companies and healthcare companies and technology companies globally. They are working in this field. So not just on other applications, but they are also focusing on healthcare applications. So these are all the developers of this technology. So, to give a broader context, we can say that we are currently in the middle of digital health revolution. So, a lot of research is happening, and also we are also seeing the pilot versions are already in the industry, and mostly we are seeing its applications currently. So, when we talk about the digital health revolution, so every medical device that we are using is reinvented. And earlier, it's lot of paperwork, lot of manual work that is being done. But now, with the digital revolution, with the help of EHR, EMR devices, applications, we are moving towards the digital world, right? But still there are challenges in terms of integration, how we need to ensure that it needs to be aggregated in a right way. So that is very important, and how we are making use of this new digital platforms, and how we are able to reach more number of individuals. But we need to ensure that they are integrated, and they are making use of it in an effective way. So it is very crucial to understand from every stakeholder point of view, not just the technical machine learning or coding point of view, but how we are actually applying it from the patient end, or from the other stakeholders in the hospital management. So it is very important for them to understand the integration of them for to match the current needs, right? Also, we apart from this, we also have the new platforms like smartwatches, sensor devices, fitness bands. So we when we see the world population and the number of mobile users, so it is more than half, almost 6.7 billion people are having access to mobile phones. And this is one of the incredible platform for collecting the data, and also providing the communication, and they will will help us to know better insights, and thereby provide the better preventive care and support for the patient, right? So, and apart from this, now we are entering into the cloud based platforms. So we have health informatics altogether, which allows us to do amazing things with the cloud based platforms. So, in order to make use of this, we actually, it helps us in aggregating the information. But again, uh, as a healthcare professional, we need to we need to ensure that how careful are we in accessing the patient information. We should be very careful about the patient privacy, because with this, what happens is there is an access to data for several stakeholders, but uh, maybe for technology scientists, or maybe for program administrators, maybe for policymakers, or even for the clinicians, and for any individual. So, to have the access to data is one thing, but we also need to ensure that how secure we are in sharing the information, which is very sensitive in terms of patients' data, right? So, we need to ensure how appropriately we are utilizing this, and this cloud ecosystems, even they're interconnected with the wearable sensor data, clinical dashboards, and also cloud based analytics, which is very rapidly evolving. And there are a lot of advantages with this if used in a right way. And not just this, we are evolving into different new applications, like in terms of capturing the cognitive and emotions. We are capturing the data from our biomarkers. So, brain health biomarkers, this will also have an access to voice analytics. So, where it is capturing our voice and it is able to measure the level of anxiety and the level of depression that undergoes for a human. And it is also capturing the facial expressions, the non-verbal communication. So, lot of advanced versions are there, which can be used for the analytics. And so it is not just about these technologies, but there are several other technologies, like artificial intelligence, uh, and robotic surgery, and even the nanomedicine, genetic engineering. So there are a lot of new advanced technologies which are coming in the convergence. So when they are integrated together, so there is going to be a lot of difference that we are going to see in the healthcare delivery, right? So in our course on AI in healthcare, so I'll be explaining in detail about each and every uh, technology and all these tools, and we will also discuss its applications and from a case study point of view. And we will see how the real world strategies are being used in the real applications, what kind of challenges they are facing, and what kind of new advancements and benefits that they are seeing when they are integrating these kind of technology in healthcare applications. So due to limited time, I am not going in detail, but we can see how the technology, the immersive technologies are also being integrated, working with all these new advancements. And on overall how we are seeing the transformation in healthcare. So over last few years, we have experienced how the applications of AI and applications of machine learning techniques are having an impact on clinical applications. And it is going to be a big difference when all of them are integrated together. So, on bottom line, what I wanted to tell is that the role of healthcare is dynamically changing, and it is very important for us to understand how can we incorporate them and how can we make use of them for the effective usage, and so that we are able to reach out to patients in a more efficient way. So the important aspect is, what is the role of clinician? Not just clinician, but any healthcare professional. We are seeing there are a lot of advancements that are seen in the technology in terms of healthcare informatics. But as a profession, although medicine is becoming more of healthcare informatics, as a profession, we still need to focus on the factors like empathy, like physical engagement, and interpersonal relationships. So these are the actual foundation of the clinical process. So that is why I said it is not digital, but it is also physical. So both are equally important. So, as a clinician, we need to understand the data that we are capturing through these devices. So, we need to process it, we need to understand what is happening behind it, and this understanding is very important as a clinician. So, we can say during COVID, we have already witnessed it, the power of telemedicine, right? We are able to reach to more number of patients in less time, but we also need to understand how, although the reach is more, at the same time there is a burden to the clinician. So it is actually impacting on a clinician. How can how with the number of resources that we have, it is very important to make use of the ready made analytics that the technology is giving, so that the doctor can focus not on the reports, not on the past data of the patient, but they focus on the actual engagement with the patient, the personal interaction with the patient, the physical and psychological factors which are very important in the pure services. So now the doctor has enough time to focus on those aspects which are very important in this healthcare. So, as they say that the AI is going ahead and taking away the jobs, but it is not that the AI is going to take away the job, but it is the clinician who is using the AI will replace the clinician who is not using it. So we need to see the reality that these tools, this advanced technology, they are actually making our job more effective way, and we are able to extend our reach in a efficient way. So now coming back to the VR applications, so it was actually introduced in early 1987 in the market for a commercial purpose, and even today there is a lot of research still going on, and we are seeing its applications in for various purposes, maybe for phobia treatment, or even for therapy purpose, for burn pain management. And there are a lot of applications, and there is still research going on, and the overall it is very important for us to understand it. What we perceive VR is just for game purpose, or maybe for some entertainment purpose, maybe for some, like, it is assumed to be a sci-fi thing, but we need to understand that there are many applications for medical purpose also. So there is a lot of research that has proved that VR can be effectively used for treatment purpose for a wide variety of clinical applications, right? The applications in terms of acute pain problems, and many anxiety problems, or depression problems, or even for the clinical treatments, even for the surgeries, or even for the training purpose. So there are wide variety of applications on this in medical field, and more than 500 companies globally are working on this technology, and it is no wonder that we see this in real time in next 5 to 10 years. And when we see the research statistics. So it is predicted that overall the usage of this VR applications in healthcare market is drastically increasing, and globally it is they are using it in
Mm.
healthcare market, right? So now talking about the importance of this VR applications. So why it is useful, and what is the neuroscience that is happening behind? So we need to understand it. The VR actually creates an experience, so it is increasing our engagement level, and we can actually get into the some other virtual environment. So it is more of an experience than just a passive thing, right? So we can make use of this in a creative way. We can actually feel the presence of it, right? So there are several applications of immersive technology in healthcare. So one such is clinical training. So in clinical training, they are actually using it for maybe equipment usage purpose, or maybe training the new medical students, right? And other applications like voice based biomarkers, they help you assess the anxiety levels, depression levels, and they are actually capturing the cognitive status and emotional status of different parts of the brain, and thereby they are measuring the level of anxiety based on what you speak, right? And we are also seeing the different ways how medical students are having an access to these kind of devices to assess the patient in a better way, and for training medical students, and even to deal with any challenging situations, even complex medical procedures. So to rehearse your surgical skills, right? To deal when they're dealing with the children. So such kind of challenging emergencies, they are able to train them so that we can you do it in a cost effective way, right? And also companies are going very deep in assessing the emotional and cognitive levels, so that we can do a very deep detailed analysis using this the data which is captured from these devices, right? And we are also seeing different applications in terms of for Alzheimer's, the augmented reality applications for Alzheimer's disease. And the research is evaluating based on their motor skills, based on their cognition level. So they're able to predict, like in next 5 years they are going to be affected with Alzheimer's. So that way what real human eye cannot detect with whatever the data which we have, the technology now is getting advanced to predict what are we going to face in next few years, right? And of course we are seeing amazing interventions of this VR technology in terms of pre-planning or image guided surgeries, right? And so much of work is being done currently, and even for rehabilitation purpose, right? The lot of companies are working on this for rehabilitation purpose using VR technology, and other applications like for pain distraction, and also dealing with phobias, right? Anxiety disorders, and other aspects like addressing the addictions. And recently they are also using it for weight management. So they provide better nutrition plan, diet plan, exercising. So all that are being suggested by the therapist to actually use it for patient better healing, right? And we are also seeing applications in terms of customizing it for an individual, right? Which is they are able to differentiate based on their socio-economic status, cultural backgrounds. So it is customized. We can incorporate the generative AI in VR technology. So that is, it is customized for a specific individual needs, and they are able to use it. So initially, I was talking about the aging population, right? So there are many VR applications which are directly applied to focus on these challenges, so that in terms of dealing with anxiety disorders, dealing with the loneliness, or even uh, even for training the staff in terms of follow-up medication, or for taking care of the age old population, right? There are several applications for these tools in healthcare. So when we see the challenges, so what are the constraints in adopting it, right? So we are still seeing this technology in terms of like the research is suggesting that there are good applications of VR, but whatever the research that is there, they are focused on a smaller group of patients. So it is required, we need to focus on large set of patients across the countries and enhance it. And moreover, other challenges, most of the people are still seeing VR as a gaming platform. So maybe some sci-fi tool or something like that. But there are enormous benefits of this VR in clinical applications, right? And in terms of interoperability. So when we say how can we incorporate this technology in existing legacy systems, that is one of the important challenge. And other challenges like simulator sickness, which is still avoidable with the kind of new design that the latest technology is coming up with. And talking about the integration, and this is one of the major challenge. And how the data is being shared, the integration aspect. So new companies are coming up with the integration. We need to ensure that it is safe, and there are new technology like federated learning approach, so that we actually don't share the data at everywhere, but we are keeping it confidential and private, and the data is being uploaded at a local level, so that it is more safer, right? So this way there are enormous applications and more advanced versions we are seeing, and it is no wonder we are going to see it in a full-fledged healthcare application in next 5 to 10 years. And to get in the and I would like to say that what we are doing is very important, and it is very important to work together. So be it the technologist, or be it the healthcare professionals, or even the healthcare management, right? At every stakeholder needs to understand its applications, need to understand how this can be effectively used for better patient care. So the collaborative approach is important to make this field move forward, right? So in this AI in healthcare course, I will be talking about the other technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and we are also focusing on agentic AI, and also explainable AI and generative AI tools. So we will explain you how the real uh, what we say applications are there, and what kind of challenges the hospitals have faced. So from a case based study, we will understand what kind of strategies they have used and how this innovation has happened, and what kind of challenges they are seeing and how did they overcome it. So that way, if any startup or any company would want to incorporate this kind of innovation in their field, so how do they take it forward? So those kind of case based analysis will be discussed in the course.